What's up, YouTube? Just a quick little update on the shop. I'm standing on top of the office because I like the bird's eye view, but we got our alignment rack over there, Hunter, the Hawkeye system, whatever they call it. Got some cars in here. We got a third gen in for some brake work and some axle seals. We got a Land Crusher getting that little rack and pinion replaced. Business is starting to pick up, which is awesome. Corolla's in here for some suspension work. Just waiting on a wheel for it, and we can do an alignment on it. So yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick update, a little overview of the shop. You could see my standout toolbox over there. Yeah, things are going great. It's awesome here. Super refreshing not being at the dealership. Nothing bad against them. I just wanted something new, and this was it. So let's get in the video about some sockets. All right, just like the intro said, let's talk about some sockets. Now, these are not all the sockets I own, nor are they all the different variety. These are just the ones I picked for this video, but there are some distinct differences between all these sockets. There's a lot of people who say, oh, any socket will do, you can use whatever you want, brand doesn't matter, yada yada, all that shit. Well, at the end of the day, this is all just my opinion, but there are certain features to each socket, like my snap-on socket right here. So here's my deep 17. All these are 17s, all these are 12s, just for reference. So you get a deep socket from Snap-on. Biggest thing I like is inside the broaching is that little shank. Not shank, a little recess holder, whatever. Got some 12s right here, which is why I got the 12 millimeter. So basically, it doesn't go in further than that, just because of that ridge. Whereas you take one that doesn't have that, well, this one's got a washer on it, but no, I don't have another one right here, but you get the gist. If it didn't have the washer, this would go all the way down. And that's a huge thing, because if you do a lot of four-wheel drives, a lot of things that have skid plates like I do, when you're trying to put a skid plate back up and the bolt just keeps falling in there and you're trying to like go through the spacers, through the diff drop, all that kind of stuff just falls through. And that's one of the big advantages to the Snap-on sockets, in my opinion, is because of that little ridge on the inside. There's a specific name for it. Guys, it's a little past 8 in the morning, so bear with me. Sorry if I don't have the correct pronunciation, but you get the gist. Whereas this socket, it's a little bit deeper in there. So that socket has that much more, or that bolt has that much more space to go in, where if it's not a super long threaded bolt, well, you're kind of shit out of luck on that one, bud. But this socket is a Vim socket, which honestly, satin finish, I love it. Their sockets have been awesome. I've been using them for a few months now. I really like them. And it's not to say that I hate the sockets that don't have that little stopper in there. Like, here are some Koken sockets, surface drive, but they got, it's about, I don't know, I'd say, oh shit, sorry, about halfway in there. Whereas this is a Mac Precision Torque spline, spline, and it's way down in there, a little over half. Whereas, let me see what else I got in here. Here's a Cornwell Blue Power. Bought that BOGO a while back. It's way down there. Like, it's almost all the way to this recess right here. So, don't know why different manufacturers do different things. Obviously, it comes down to pricing, tools, equipment they have, all that jazz. I'm not going to get into that. I, quite frankly, don't care about that. I buy the tools because I like the tools. And like Capri. Y'all know I love Capri tools, but I mean, their hex is way down there. And that's their 6. This is their 12. They're both way down there. And you get into impact sockets, even swivels. This is a Cornwell swivel, deep swivel, and it's got that stopper right there, which is great. Where here's a Sunex. Love Sunex, have nothing but good things to say about their tools so far, and get it. It's way further down than that, and it does make a difference, guys. Like, it really does. I'm working on this Land Crusher behind me, and you know, skid plate bolts. Granted, these have washers, Excuse me. But one of the bolts for the rack, they're 19s, and they have a free washer and nut on the top side, and then you have to thread that whole thing through the frame, through the rack bushings, and get your bolt on. So if you're using a socket, like this one, where it goes all the way down, now you're losing that much of thread. Obviously, I'm using 1/2 inch for the rack torque, but same thing on 1/2 inch. This applies to 1/4, 3/8, 1/2, which is why I have 1/4 over here, 3/8 here. I didn't gather all my halves just because, again, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. So it makes a huge difference in when you're trying to start bolts. If you're going in blind, which never do that, but if we're going in blind, you're using feel, and you could feel the hole, yet you have a socket. Like this is a Matco Pro non-slip, which I love these sockets. These have done fantastic on getting certain bolts out, but I mean, they're way down in there, so you're going in blind. Now that bolt is all the way in there, and you're trying to thread it in, and you could feel the hole like that. You feel the hole, the bolt's in there, but it's just not catching the threads. So you need to grab something like this, where that bolt is all the way out, or as much out as it can get. Now, that being said, there are some slight advantages to having, here's a Mac one. Mac 1/4 inch is pretty far down there, but there are some slight advantages to having that. Like if you're working on a threaded rod, like a battery J-hook tie down, and you need to jam that thing down there, you can fit that rod all the way through here, and then you have all that space to back it out. But also, on the other end of the spectrum, when you're trying to put the little nut on the J-hook, you don't want it all the way inside that socket, because now that socket's going to be all the way on that threaded rod, and, well, hopefully things don't cross-thread, which you should never cross-thread a J-hook. Those things are super easy on batteries. You could probably start them by hand, but that's just the example I could think of right now. And then the next thing on these sockets is all of them have a purpose. Now, obviously I have a metric fuck ton of sockets that I probably have duplicates of, this, that, and the other, but whatever. That's because I make videos like this. I have a tool Instagram page, and I just like tools. I'm building my son a quality tool collection for when he gets older. I have a set at home. I have a set in my car. I have a set in my wife's car. I have a set, I gave one to my dad that I built for his Jeep, and then I want to make one for my mom, but she won't really know how to use it. Getting off topic. But, so, each socket has a purpose. Like, obviously, swivels. Everyone knows swivels are good for everything, but they're short and deep. This isn't a 17. This is a 10. I accidentally left this out last night. But, obviously, huge difference in size. You're trying to get, suspension bolts. You're trying to get something far in there. You want to use these deep ones, but you got something like super shallow, use these guys. And Snap-on makes one even shorter than this, and I want to get that set, but I just ordered some drawers for my Epic cart, so gotta wait. I gotta pay those off first. And for all the haters, my box is paid off. Most of my shit's paid off, so for all the haters out there that always comment that I'm in debt, I am not. So just thought I'd throw that in there. But like these spline drives, they have their purpose. They're supposed to work on 6-point, 12-point torques, rounded, whatever. We're not going to get into whether they work or not. I bought them, used them for a while. I actually had some issues with them rounding bolts, not taking rounded bolts out, but whatever. These, same concept, Pro non-slip. They're for partially rounded, all the different types of fasteners. These work awesome. I love these. My Matco guy had a demo. He's like, look, you got something stuck? We'll take the socket out there, and you hammer it on there, and I'll let you try it out. I have them in 1/4 and 3/8. I bought both. They work awesome. Same with Koken. Surface drive, they have their place. I really like the surface drive setup. I got some GP impact swivels that are surface drive. I like this design. And that's just me. I don't deal with a lot of rust down here in Texas. I don't deal with a lot of, fucked up bolts. But when I do come across them, those are usually what I use, and they work great. Whereas this one is the Z-Series Deep. This is a great socket. Koken makes quality stuff. The tolerances on the bolts of these Koken sockets are ridiculous. They're tighter than Snap-on. There, I said it. It's fact. Not my Snap-on socket. That's not a Snap-on. There's my Snap-on socket. I mean, this is a deep, and you can see the size difference. And that's a great tangent to get off on too, is size difference. I mean, these three are all technically semi-deep, right? And as you can see, they're all three different sizes. This is a Cornwell USA, a Snap-on, and a Capri. And they're all great impact sockets. I've loved all of them, but the Cornwell's actually pretty thick. The Capri I've been using the hell out of daily for the last probably 8 to 10 months. And, you know, this is semi-deep, and when you have their, I have one of their deeps somewhere. Sorry for the disorganization. Here's one of their deeps. You know, that's not a huge difference in deep and semi-deep, whereas you take the Snap-on deep, the Snap-on semi-deep, that's a huge difference. But this is why you have options, because this semi-deep might not fit, this one might, or these two might not fit and this one fits. You know, that you got to have options, and that's, I like having different brands. I like having a lot of tools. I mean, there's even this little nubbins, little stubby guy. And that's like these guys, you know, you got a Mac and a Vim, great sockets. The Mac is probably my favorite impact socket, honestly, guys. And the Vim satin finish, these sockets are fantastic. The finish has held up great. I've been using the hell out of this on an impact. Don't tell them. It's been doused in brake cleaner. And when I review stuff for you guys, I want you to know I treat them like, not crap, but like I treat them like y'all do in the shop. Like, let's be honest, I do real world. They get fluids on them. I spray them down with brake clean. I use everything on an impact. Like, that's how it goes as a technician. Sometimes you just grab whatever's closest to you. I mean, hell, some of these I use as U-joint punches, like getting the caps off. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. You use what's within arm's reach, especially on flat rate. So that's that. That's really, I just want to talk about some sockets. Hope y'all liked the video. Comment what kind of sockets y'all like, what kind you want to see on the channel. This is also an FDX. This thing's got super tight tolerance. And I will say the Koken sockets have about the same tolerance as these FDX. Now, this is a surface drive. I have my Koken regular 6-point quarter-inch somewhere in my box. But, again, I just grabbed what I could grab right now. But, yeah, that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, share it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what I can improve on. If you don't want to hear me ramble on all the time, sometimes I just like to shoot the shit on video because, you know, I like interacting with you guys. That's just part of why I made this channel, to share my love for tools and quality tools, because quite frankly, a lot of my friends aren't wrench turners, so they don't understand. So this is where I come to do it. But anyway, guys, thanks, and I'll try to keep doing these weekly uploaded videos.